What's up, everybody? Radium TV, episode 1. I'm your host, Bradley Denniston.
Kevin Beggs.
All right, we got a lot going on today. What are we talking about, Kev?
For Music Talk, we're looking at the Billboard Hot 100, and we're gonna break down the 5 top songs in the country right now. From there, we're gonna go to Travis Scott, Birds in the Trap, Sing Mcknight. We're gonna review his newest album.
Dope.
And after that, we got an Indiespotlight on the Ventura artist Kyle.
And in Tech Talk, we're gonna be reviewing the iPhone 7. Got a lot of features coming up. Do we like it? Do we not like it? Is it better than the exploding Samsung Galaxy 7? Probably.
From there, we have Gear Talk, which we're gonna break down the newest releases in the pro audio market.
So you guys stay tuned. Got a lot.
So today for the Billboard Hot 100, at number 5, we have Broccoli, Drum featuring Lil Yachty.
Ain't no telling what I'm finna be on.
Not a few tracks really make the top 5 that are hip hop based. So this is pretty cool to break this down. Dram Broccoli is kind of like a kid's song, like meshed into a trap track. They did some really cool things with the production, distorting the 808s, pretty standard stuff as well. The main focus on this is the little melody line that sounds like a little kid playing chopsticks on the piano. That's not hard. You just take any old, FL keys, for example, from using Fruity Loops, or you just take any like basic sampler. You take the most basic piano patch. You could use Sample Tank, just open the piano. Don't use any velocity, and you just like literally play it. You can draw it in, and you just play like really simple melodies, like try to do small walks. This
is pretty modern hip hop in the fact that it is taking something that is old, like the bouncing, rhythmic triads on the piano from, reminiscent of Jay-Z's Hard Knock Life. And then throwing a really distorted 808 in your face and then having a lazy rap on it. And then also the hook is good. I like the hook, but then there's a counter melody on this flute, this warbly flute sample, which I think is really cool. If you're looking for a sound like that, Imtron Pro from GeForce Audio, that's a really cool plugin to get stuff like that.
Yeah.
And how do you get your 808s to distort?
I'm using Fruity Loops, just like a lot of these beat makers in 2016. They're using just the simple stuff, but inbox plugins, pretty much the stuff that came with Fruity Loops, which are like the fast distortion is what I would use, for example. You put it on the A setting, which is the model type of what type of distortion it is, and then you just crank the drive all the way to 100%.
And also some good ones, Sound Toys Decapitator and Vintage Filter. There's, from AIR.
Yep.
There's a bunch of plugins that make really great distortion now.
Yep.
Good track though. And number 4, we got Justin Bieber and DJ Snake, Let Me Love You.
I used to believe we were burning on the edge of something beautiful.
Surprise.
With this track, it's like very obvious, simple EDM music. The only different thing I kind of see about it is the beat. The drum beat is like not 4 on the floor.
Oh, we put in a little extra note in there.
But this is like pretty simple pop production. I don't think this is out of the box. The chord structure, the rhythms in the chords.
I like the melodies. I think the melodies is what makes this. It's Justin Bieber singing the melodies, and it's typical DJ Snake production.
One thing to note is it's like very mid-tempo. DJ Snake's usually, his stuff is like very hype music, so it's up-tempo, it's in your face, it's loud. This one is kind of just like a smooth rider, and I think that's kind of where he's been going a lot lately with his music. So, at number 3, we have Heathens by 21 Pilots.
All my friends are heathens, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know.
This is a song written for an album for a movie. It's literally a soundtrack song. So before we go into any of that, I think it's important for people to understand what that means. This is a song produced for a feeling of a song for Suicide Squad. So you're really kind of limited there. I've worked with a lot of directors, producers, executives for songs for movies, and you're getting literally 10 opinions in the room, You can't do this because this, you can't do that, you gotta tone that down, you can't be too aggressive,
Revise, revise, revise.
Revisions, revisions, revisions.
I think the hook, though, is the strongest part of the song.
Yep.
And the production itself is kind of based around that hook idea. It's all the boom bap. The rhythm is, you know, in the drums, and it's very hip hop.
Yeah,
it's very hip hop.
It's like the vocals and the drums, and everything else is tucked back. Good mix, good production. I think overall the songs plays to what it should.
Yeah, it's interesting that it's number 3 because let's be honest, you can't really play this at the club, or you could, and it'd have to be a club remix.
Yeah.
This version of the song does not hold up in the club, which is interesting.
Which is interesting because everything that's on the billboards is club.
Yeah.
Yeah. At number 2, The Weeknd featuring Daft Punk with Starboy.
I'm trying to put you in the worst mood. P1 cleaner than your church shoes.
What you have is like a very, very strong drum line. And everything kind of follows the drums. The vocals are the mainstay of this track. Everything is built around the vocals. The chords are like straight, you know, quarter note piano chords. It almost sounds like what they just played like in the demo phase of it, and it like stayed with the rest of the track.
Yeah, I think the interesting part about the drums is that they're all analog. It's like literally using analog synths for drum sounds. So, you know, maybe the kick had some like actual samples of kick samples on it, but the layering of the analog drum with the sample and then having the little percussion bits in there, that's all analog synths. Like those aren't hi-hats, you know, those aren't like they went into a library and pulled out hi-hat samples. So that's very Daft Punk. I was kind of like wanting more of like the Daft Punk that was using the, you know, the guitars and a little bit of that funk in there.
Yeah.
You know, like not necessarily the Tron Daft Punk.
Yeah, you definitely got the Daft Punk flavor. Like they did not like reach outside of their box of, you know, instruments and sounds and everything. It is literally Daft Punk brand. Worked around The Weeknd, so I give them that. They like stuck to the blueprint. You got what you expected when you read that title and you heard that song. You're like, okay, yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah,
so.
and it's number 2.
Yep.
On the billboards.
At the number 1 spot, we have Chainsmokers' "Closer" featuring Halsey.
Just fine before I met you.
Insane. This song won't get off the charts.
Yeah, killing it.
Yeah. The production on this is pretty basic. We're talking about like some really like almost like house chords on there, right? Like I just feel like they pulled up Nexus or, you know, one of those plugins that has those house sounds in it and just made a quick, simple progression. And most of it was about the writing, you know, probably a writer's camp on this. It definitely connects to a target market that's buying records right now.
Yeah.
You know, the college kids going to college for their freshman year, and you know, it's very reminiscent of things we've already heard a lot of.
Just going off that, like the song is definitely the generic EDM pop single, like based out of that kind of 2012 era sound, and it's kind of just the newest form of it, which is, you know, more house based. Everything on it is sounding like it came out of like a Phantom G8 or you know, it sounds like a keyboard track, like the strings on it have that kind of like keyboard reminiscent sound.
It contrasts, I think, using those sort of sounds, it contrasts with the vocals really well because the vocal production's really good on it. Like, you know, Halsey on it is like very airy. They've compressed her really nicely. She's has this very, you know, in-your-face, personal, at the end of the bed, singing to you sound to the vocal production. And I think using cheaper sounds and samples kind of makes that stand out even more.
And let's be honest, guys, like the most important thing you can take away from this is how important melody is, because I can tell you this hook was written around that melody on the main synth on the hook. That main synth wrote the song. So when the writers sat down, they just literally took that melody that was already existing and then they put words to it. So
yeah, and then who could we get to sing on it?
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, good for them, man. They're having a lot of success with this track, and it's minimal. The minimalist effort on the production really speaks loudly to what's going on in 2016 in music.
So now we're gonna look at Birds in the Trap Sing Mcknight, Travis Scott's newest album.
Yeah, good one.
2 a.m. howling outside, looking but I cannot find Don't you fall asleep this time.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's for the average hip hop listener, and I think it kind of feeds that market.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of standout tracks on this. There's Outside. I think that was a really dope one.
All my niggas outside ain't going in. Yeah. We been hanging outside ain't going in. Yeah.
Real catchy, repetitive, but super dope production. I think Murda Beats was on that one. Maybe you were saying Oz might have been on that one?
Yeah, Oz was definitely on Outside. Good friend of mine worked on the Fam with for Marty and G. Also, I liked personally like The Ends and Sweet Sweet, and there's a lot of good tracks on here. I think it's definitely like an album that you play through while you're hanging out with friends or you're driving in the car or something like that.
It's a good driving album for sure.
It's definitely like for that kind of just like chillin' vibe.
Totally.
It's kind of the evolution of trap, and it's like, you know, it's trap now is not like Waka Flocka, turn all the way up, like none of that. Like the energy is different now. It's all about being super high and being chill, like just chilling. So.
It's about sipping that lean.
Exactly.
I feel like that's what they're doing. They're like going in, taking some codeine, drinking some booze.
Some Xannies.
Yeah, and then they're like, let's go write an album. The cool thing about the production to me that stand out here is that it is very much an emotion and a feel, and it's its own movie, and you go through these tracks and you see consistency with, you know, the minor chords, the diminished chords, the very slow hip hop trap, you know, that feels cinematic. It feels natural. It doesn't feel like forced. I think some of the writing's a little sloppy, in my opinion. That could just be, you know, like, oh, we never finished this, but we needed to get this out. And, you know, we spent most of our time on these 5 songs. So these other ones just didn't get the attention.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the writing's sloppy, big deal. Because I think a lot of this, you know, you're talking about new trap. It's not about the writing, you know?
It's about the feel, it's about the aura.
Exactly.
Any of these other tracks you could compare to, like Pick Up the Phone, for example. Yeah. It's all about that, you know, that constant head nod that you get when you're listening to it. So.
Yeah, it's a bounce and it's a feel, and I like the way that they're doing the, you know, a lot of the samples or even the keyboards that are detuned and a little warbly. Warbly, that's kind of like a throwback to old analog synths, you know, the detuning. They're finding samples that are already kind of, you know, a little warbly, and then just making them even more so. And that could be a lot in the production of using FL Studio and things like that, where
I think that's just kind of been like a trap thing though, just to kind of detune, and it
kind of mess things up a little.
It makes it kind of like just found it, you know what I mean? They wanted the samples raw. They didn't want the cleanest studio mastered version of the samples. They wanted the scratchiest vinyl version of it. So I think for our grading for this album, we're gonna give it a B+, and that's 87% on the report card for these guys. They did a good album and it's strong, but is it timeless? I don't think so. I think it's, you know, next year he's gonna have a new album and we're gonna be on that one, so.
And then we sleep through day, then we play all through the late night. Sleep through day, then we play.
All right, in the Indie Spotlight, we're talking about Kyle today. Really dope artist. Where's he from?
He's from Ventura, California.
What's that? Oh, damn it, baby, you bad. Yeah, heard you got a boyfriend. That's cool, girl, where is he at? Ooh, he fucked up. You lucked up. You done ran to the motherfucking man. Look, I make you my babe for a day. You should be happy I'm giving you back. Cause I can make you wifey for a week. We can spend a weekend in Japan. If anyone fuck with my Aki Chan, tell him they'll get fucking Jackie Chan.
Really unique voice. I think that's the takeaway. He's a pop singer, he's a rapper. And his music is very unique, his style, his image, everything about it screams himself, which is very interesting to find in today's music world where it's a lot of copies and clones and, you know, coming out, so.
You kind of know more about Kyle than I do, obviously with, you know, knowing G and Marty and stuff.
I mean, I've met him, you know, at numerous shows. He's been around since the beginning and he knows himself really well. His brand is his brand and his image is his image. Like he's not trying to be like every other rapper that came out before him.
Really? Really? Yeah. Really? Yeah. Really? Really? Damn right. Really? Yeah.
First time I saw him was with, he was opening for G at that same venue.
Yeah, years ago.
Yeah, and then we would go and see him and he's headlining that venue and it was packed. It was crazy and great performer, man. Like I was so surprised by that. That's the deciding factor for me with an artist where you're like, yeah, they can make dope songs. They can put out a couple singles, you know, they have good music and they're themselves, great. But then like watching him perform live, you go, wow.
I've been thinking about a whole lot of nothing, thinking about a whole lot at the same time.
He's releasing content constantly and he's not reliant on, oh, I need to put out a new song every, you know, 2 weeks. It's like, you know, his video content, it's funny. It's, you know what I mean? It's
He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't need to like play it off. He's just like hanging out with his friends, being funny.
One thing about him is he's very retro. So there's something familiar within his music that people like can really gravitate towards. So.
Yeah, and also if you haven't, go check out Die For Me. That's one that we mixed for, you know, Radium with Marty on it.
I'm just saying, would you die for me? Would you die for, I'm staring at you saying that you got that twinkle in your eye for me. You got the twinkle in your eye for me. Never hold back, show me that you gon' ride for me. Never lie to me.
He sings most of his own hooks, you know, similar to a Drake, but I don't want to just, you know, put him in that category.
Right.
Because what he does as an artist is very different from Drake. It kind of definitely comes from that, you know, grimy, sampley hip hop, but also with R&B, but then also has like a touch of, you know, modern trap with the drums and stuff like that. So
yeah, I like his vibe, man. Like he's very much himself. He's making his own lane, and he's someone to watch out for, man.
Yeah.
Tech Talk, iPhone 7, what do we think?
Dude, iPhone 7, is it groundbreaking or is it the iPhone 6S plus 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 plus?
Plus, plus, plus. Well, to me, technology has to take a step, right? To advance, we have to get to the next step. Step might not be that big this time. First off, I'd say, like everyone's gonna talk about, they removed the headphone jack.
Oh, no.
The only big deal for me on this is that now you have a dongle for your headphones, or you gotta buy into this whole wireless headphone system.
Let's be honest, this phone is kind of the response phone to a lot of you know, different products on the market. But what Apple's kind of doing with it is it's taking out features, it's, you know, changing things, and it's really seeing if customers like us are like really gonna notice it, are we gonna like it, are we gonna not like it, you know what I mean? So
We're the test subjects. Audio-wise, it has stereo speakers on the phone now. We got 32 gig, which a lot of people don't know. If you buy the 32 gig version, you get a drive in there, solid state drive, that is actually slower than the 128 gig or the 256 gig, which means lower performance. We're talking about a new camera, the flagship camera being on the iPhone 7 Plus.
a dual camera.
Dual camera.
What you have in there is, you know, a telephoto, a zoom lens, and then you also have a wide angle. So you have options. It's kind of for the photographer that wants to use mobile devices for photography. It's Apple's attempt to appeal to different markets, and if you want the Plus, you have a bigger screen, but then also you have more photography options.
Cool, and then we got a quad-core processor in there, the fastest processor that we've ever had in a mobile phone.
Waterproofing?
We're talking about all waterproofing. That's huge. Should have been done last phone, in my opinion.
I think it is like a huge step within, you know, processing architecture and the speed and the battery life, which is now 2 hours longer than the iPhone 6S.
So important.
I mean, these are great things, and these are like natural progressions in technology. Like, we're making leaps now, which is awesome. But let's talk about the actual practicality. And like, I don't want to charge my headphones so that I can charge my phone, and then if my headphones aren't charged, then I'm on the plane. Oh no, I forgot to charge them, and no, I can't.
Oh, and then I forgot my backup.
Oh, I forgot my dongle. And oh, wait, I want to charge my phone, but I have a dongle plugged in for my headphones now. Like, it's just like, it just starts messing up the practicality of the
Right, and my point is that this is the step to get to the next step. And a lot of people, a lot of times, like us griping about this stuff, they don't see the steps that it takes to get there. And this is a stepping stone. To me, the iPhone 8, maybe 9, will be, oh my God, we're getting rid of cables and cords. We're finally wireless, right? Mm-hmm. We're really, truly wireless. And this is a tech company that's huge. They've always been innovating. So at this point, we're talking about just taking the next step. Gear Talk. So today we're gonna talk, just run through some things. Here we go. We got iZotope with the new Neutron plugin. iZotope being a leader in this field of mixing and mastering plugins. I think this is interesting. They're gonna push the technology. They're automating it, sort of. It's like you put it on the bass and you put it on the kick drum and it'll tell you what's masking and it'll give you recommendations. It might speed up mixing workflow. I know me as a mixing engineer, I hate when people tell me what to do with my EQs, but I wouldn't mind like oh, hey, try this. And you go, I see what they're trying to do. Wonder Audio with the Suprema line. What do we got there? Yeah,
pretty much it's their, like, I wouldn't say rebranding, but it's kind of them reintroducing these classic mics, C12, 47s, and it's kind of them updating their designs, essentially. This allows them to re-release these mics, but then also give them designs that fit better for 2016, or, you know, their production easier and their repair, things like that, you know what I mean? So
Waves subscription service. This is an interesting one. Waves is trying to compete, I guess, with everything else. The Slate subscriptions, the, you know, East-West subscriptions, all that stuff. I think it's a good idea, but I also think it's a little on the high price.
Yeah, what really the problem with Waves is that they do such high discounts. You know, or Cyber Monday, you know, coming up. And really, like, I think you just have to wait to those discount periods.
East-West Play 5, a big update, I think, for the composing world. The big difference here, and hopefully everyone upgrades, is that Play 5 has really taken the sample loading time down. They've rewritten the code completely on Play. There used to be stability issues with Play. Play Engine no longer has those problems. A lot of people would host it in Vienna Ensemble because you got the 64-bit wrap and all that. But you don't have those issues anymore with Play, so East-West, good job. Spitfire Audio, I'll be on 5 Tundra. This is kind of like what I equate to the orchestral essentials that Project Sam did. It's kind of a package of, you know, oh, we got all of our drums, we got strings, we got horns, it's kind of a collection, like a sampling of all this different stuff. The biggest thing that Spitfire does differently, I think, is they go and they produce them, right? They go and they EQ and they compress and they make the sounds, they change them, you know? Tundra is about a certain vibe, which is interesting, and it's a good call because everyone has the sample library of strings recorded at AIR Studios. We don't need more of those. API Transformer line.
It's basically their new line of guitar pedals, which introduce the classic studio tools and like kind of puts them into their guitar pedal line, which allows you to do all the things we always wanted to do in post, like on the fly now. So if you're recording, it's great for you recording engineers.
Thank you so much for checking out episode 1 of Radium TV. We're gonna have a Spotify playlist for you with some music selections of what we talked about today.
And make sure you guys tune in every 2 weeks because we're gonna come at you with a new episode and it's gonna be dope, I promise.
Every 2 weeks.
And make sure you visit radium-media.com for all the newest updates.
I'm on fire.